Today we're going to be looking at compound interest. This is very similar to our exponential growth that we've looked at the last couple of days. The equation for compound interest is a of t equals p times 1 plus r over n to the nt power. So I'm just going to define what each of these pieces mean so that we can look at them in the equation. A of t is going to become your total. P is the principal amount or the initial amount, sometimes also known as the deposit. R is the rate expressed as a decimal. N is the number of times a year the interest is compounded. And T is the time in years. Some other important pieces of vocabulary are annually means that it's compounded once a year, so N is 1. Semi-annually means it's compounded twice a year, so N would be 2. And quarterly means it's compounded 4 times a year, so N would be 4. Today we're only going to look at writing the equations and plugging everything into the right place. Tomorrow we're going to work on calculating them. So let's go through this first example. Leslie is opening a bank account to save money for a new bicycle. She has $70 she has earned from doing odd jobs around her neighborhood. She invests it in a bank that the interest is compounded quarterly with a rate of 2%. How much money will Leslie have after 3 years? So we want to first identify what P, R, N, and T is, and then write it all in one equation. So P, my principal amount, is $70. That's how much she is putting into the bank. So P is $70. R, we're going to look for a percent. The rate is always going to be the percent. So we have 2%. But remember, I said that R needs to be written as a decimal. So you're going to take the percent and divide it by 100. So 2 divided by 100 is 0.02. N is the number of times it's compounded in a year, and it says it's compounded quarterly. So that means it's compounded 4 times. So N is 4. And then T, we have 3 years. So T is 3. So now we have all of the pieces of information. We're just going to rewrite our equation and plug those pieces in. So our equation that we're dealing with is A of T equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT power. So I know what P is, R is, N is, and T is. So I have A of T equals P, so I'm going to write 70. Parentheses, 1. The 1 doesn't change. I'm not changing that 1. It will always be 1. Doesn't matter what anything else is. 1 is always going to be 1. So now I have my R is 0.02 and my N is 4. So I'm going to rewrite it with 0.02 over 4. And then finally, my N is, I want to raise it to the NT, and N is 4, and T is 3. Make sure you use parentheses to indicate that N and T are going to be multiplied, because if you just write NT as 43, you're going to think that it's being raised to the 43rd power, and it's not. So that's all we're doing today, finding out what the pieces are from the problem and plugging them into our equation. Tomorrow we will look at solving these equations with a calculator.